So here is the fundamental question. Is there anything in the Bible that prohibits my affiliation with Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated?
Yes, there is.
If the Bible is critical to us discerning the will of God, the question we must wrestle with as Christians, is there anything in Bible that prohibits or prevents me from being affiliated in the bond of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated?
Absolutely, yes.
Let's have a little Bible study.
Let's.
Number one, we've got to acknowledge that fraternities and sororities, as we know them today, did not exist in the time when the Bible was written.
That's true, but it's also false.
There was no Kappa when the Bible was written.
That's true.
There was no Alpha. There was no AKA, Delta, name them all.
As we know them
When
today.
the Word of God, especially the New Testament, begins to be written around 60 AD, none of these organizations existed.
That's correct.
So there's no direct commandment concerning them.
Wrong.
There's no verse in Scripture that says thou shalt not be a member of a Greek letter organization.
It says thou shalt not be an
Now,
idolater.
because we don't have any direct commandment,
We do.
we got to approach this question a different way.
Actually, we
Since
do.
there's no thou shalt or thou can't, whenever you don't have a direct reference, you've got to look for precedence.
Ladies and gentlemen, we not only have a direct reference, we also have an indirect reference. As you know, you may not know this, but since I'm a lawyer, I know this. Most constitutions, every state has its own constitution and it's modeled primarily after the United States Constitution. However, the United States Constitution primarily gets principles from the Bible. Okay. And so what the United States Constitution does is it has broad-based principles that can be applicable in the future to situations and circumstances that did not even exist at the time that the document was penned. Okay. And so that's how we have a 200-year-old document that's controlling how we handle computers now, how we handle the cloud, how we handle eminent domain, how we handle, modern day technology. Yet they had no way of understanding back then what we're dealing with now, because they put in biblical principles or constitutional principles that's based on the Bible. Okay. Every law that we have is based on the Bible. Murder is based on the Bible. Theft. Okay. Property. Okay. How to treat animals. Just about everything that we have in society today comes from the Bible. Biblical principles were infused into the Constitution. So no, there was no such thing as Kappa Alpha Psi back then, but there were Greek organizations and guilds, okay, who were also evilly influenced by Satan.